Also, you can watch Heather Meacham working with her students on this strategy. As you watch, notice how Heather begins by explaining why it's important to know how to get the gist and how to do it. She then models the strategy, provides guided practice, and uses small groups to provide students with practice on their own that allows her to monitor their success in applying the strategy.
So we've been talking in class, we've been working on trying to find the gist of what we're reading, right? But I want to talk more about the gist today because getting the gist of what we're reading is really fundamental to comprehension. And this is exactly the challenge that I notice a lot of people having, because they're reading and reading and reading, and they're so proud of themselves because they're reading so pretty, but they're only looking for individual words. They're only looking for long words or for a word that they might think is interesting or what they think the teacher wants them to look for. When you really understand what you read, it's because what you're looking for is the gist, or the most important thing, the nugget of what the writer is trying to say. And so that's what I want us to work on today, is how do we get the gist of what we're reading? How do we find this central nugget of what the author is trying to say? So, the gist is a combination of two things. It's the main idea, or what the article is about, what the author is trying to tell us about, all right? And it's also the point, okay? So it's not just what it's about, it's also the point. It's also what the author wants us to think or feel or believe or understand. It's why the author is telling us about that. So that's, when we talk about main idea, a lot of people just want to give us what it's about, right? They just want to say, oh, this is about reading. But the point is really important. It's really important that you be able to pull out, what is the author trying to make me think or feel or believe? Why does the author want me to care about this topic? So we've talked before, how do we find what an article is about? What do we look for? Words that are repeated, exactly. We look for repeated words. And sometimes it can be like a different version of the same word, right? So if we're reading something about President Lincoln, it might start saying he, but it's still about President Lincoln, right? So we look for things that are repeated. We look for things that we see more than once. And then when we look for the point, we look for what it is that we're learning about that thing. And we want to check and make sure that we can find something in the text, in the words that are on the page, that support what we think the point is.